So in this video, I wanted to spend a few minutes talking about this weird little pen. It's called the Tombow Zoom 828BW, more commonly known as the Tombow Egg. It's usually seen as a fountain pen. I picked it up in a rollerball just because it's a little bit easier to find as a rollerball and it's generally cheaper. You really have to find these used because I don't think they're for sale anymore, or at least if they are, they're not sold very commonly. You can't just go to a standard Tombow dealer and find it. You really are mainly looking on eBay and places like that. The pen's been around for a while, since I believe 1989, and the design is basically unchanged since then. Again, it's mainly the fountain pen, and it's also sold as this rollerball. I think there's a mechanical pencil as well. So yeah, since 1989, really interesting design. I don't believe it's still sold, but if you look for them on eBay now, you could find them for maybe like the $35, $40 range. And the original retail price was 3,500 yen, or about $35. Although I'm not sure about the historic conversions of those. Now it would be about $35. So super short pen, super wide. It has a triangular plastic grip. It looks a little bit rubber, but it's a hard plastic. And it's rounded, and then you have the flat sections here and here. So it's a little bit like a very large Lamy Safari nib, or a very large TWSBI, not nib, sorry, very large Lamy Safari grip, or a TWSBI grip, where the triangle is sort of rounded off and to promote a sort of pinch type hold. Very wide. It goes up to, the entire pen goes up to about 23 millimeters wide, which is like over half an inch. It's like getting on to be an inch. And then the pen itself is over half an inch wide. So check on unsharpened.com for all the measurements there. Okay, so for the pen, what's going on? We have the triangular hard plastic grip, metal front piece. You can see the actual refill sticks out kind of right here. That's the black area. It's a little bit ugly, or at least unsightly, and I'm not sure exactly why that is, but that seems to be the case. Slightly flared here. Again, I'm not really sure why that's the case. My guess is that this part here is the same on the fountain pen and the rollerball, so they needed to have it sort of extra wide to accommodate the nib, but it looks a little bit ridiculous with the rollerball with that gold metal conical piece. Then we have plastic. It's all plastic. This is a gloss plastic. They might call it a resin, but it's a plastic. It has a couple little scratches here. I bought this one used, like I said, but it does pick up scratches. It's not super tough. Snap-on cap. It does have the banding here, which is really nice. Metal clip. The clip is, you see how wide it is? It's actually, it's really stiff. It's a strong clip. So you could put it on jeans or something like that, or really slam it down on a shirt, but it's not that usable of a clip. And then it's really obviously quite stiff because it's so short, you're not really getting much leverage on this piece. And then just sort of simple rounded top, rounded bottom. Just to get into the size, because this is really the most important thing. It's 1, 2, 3, about 4 inches long, 4 1/4 maybe. And again, check on unsharpened.com for all the full measurements. I'll put them up there. But quite short. Here's it next to a Sharpie, which is a pretty standard size for a normal pen. And then here, if you are a Tombow fan, this is a basically Tombow Zoom 505, which I would say is probably Tombow's most popular rollerball. So you could see that's very similar in size to the Sharpie, a little bit wider, but very similar in size, and much, much longer than the Egg. If you're writing with the Egg, it's a little short to go like this. It's for people that really like wide, I guess, wide short pens, but it does post. So posted, you're at, it is a little bit ridiculous looking, and we'll get into how it feels in a minute, but that's how it looks. And now we're at the length of essentially a normal pen. It's just very, very wide. Not quite egg-shaped, so I'm not sure where the name came from, and there's nothing, delicious and golden inside of it, but I guess it's sort of rounded off like an egg. I'm not really sure. just to take a quick break from talking about the pen in the outside, we'll hop inside. You unscrew this, you can see very coarse threading. And then we have that sort of Tombow liquid rollerball refill. And it's kind of a non-standard refill. Tombow uses it across multiple different pens. So if you have Tombow pens, you've probably seen this before. And if you don't have Tombow pens, you probably have never used this one before. It's not a standard shape, so it's not really that usable. I've had a few of these leak, which is interesting. I really have not found this to be a great refill. We'll see if this one's leaking at all. Yeah, even this one's leaking a little bit. I don't know why. I've had problems with these ones leaking. They're not made super well. And I haven't had them explode, just like a little bit of leakage like that, which is a little bit of a pain with the rollerball refill because it can be tough to clean off. But there's the refill inside the pen. Like I said, it does stick out a little bit, which really is quite annoying. So this is the Tombow Zoom 828BW, aka the Egg. The rollerball is not bad. It's like I said, it's a liquid rollerball. It's not a bad rider, has a little bit of texture, and I don't really have a problem with it specifically. You know, I don't think Tombow is really a company where I love their refills or I buy their pens for their refills. In fact, I buy their pens. I guess I would say I almost don't buy their pens because of their refills, but the company makes such cool and interesting pens. I find myself really tracking down a lot of their different pens. I think everyone will remember not everyone will remember but you might recall my Zoom 101, the carbon fiber fountain pen review I did a few months ago, or the Zoom 101, there's a ballpoint one as well. And those are just so cool. The company they have their design series and their different Zoom series where they make just very interesting pens. So they're worth checking out. As far as the Egg, is it worth checking out? I think it really comes down to, do you like this shape? Have you always wanted a super small, super wide pen, super short, super wide pen? I don't know how many people that has been like an interest of. Like, man, I just can't find pens that are short and wide enough. But if you are looking for a pen that's very wide, maybe you have a grip problem, or maybe you want to wear gloves, or maybe you just have very big hands and you don't want a pen that's full size, I think that's a use case. Or some people just want very wide pens, and those tend not to exist except in specialty circumstances. So maybe you don't care about the length, you just want a pen with a lot of width. So in that case, I feel like the Egg makes sense. The width, so you want a very wide pen, and but you don't want it to be super heavy or super bulky. Then maybe Tombow is thinking, okay, I know what we'll do. We'll make the pen very short. It'll weigh about as much as a normal pen, even though it's twice as wide as a standard pen. So you make it shorter so that it's not crazy heavy or crazy awkward despite the extra width. And then if you need the extra length, then you can go ahead and post it. Now we have a full length pen with double the width or so. And you can hold it a little bit up more, which is okay when it's posted, once the balance works out. And then you're having this pen that's, again, I'll put the measurements on and sharpen, but maybe it's like, I don't know, like 16, 17 millimeters by the time you're edging up in this grip. Personally, I would say it's not for me. I enjoy the novelty of it, and I didn't get it in the fountain pen, so I think it would just be too hard for me to write with. With the rollerball, I could take some quick notes and scribble it and kind of enjoy the pen for what it is, even though I don't feel like I particularly need a very wide pen. Fountain pen, I think, would just be too hard for me to maneuver. But if I get a chance, I probably will buy one anyway. But I would say if you want to dip your toes into the Egg, get the rollerball, save a couple bucks. It's easier to find, and try it out. It is fun, but I would say it's more interesting than it is good for me. You know, if you have some sort of special requirements or special love of wider pens, then it's probably one of the nicer super wide pens you can get. I've seen the pens called something like Michael's Fat Boy or something like that, and they're available online, but they're quite expensive. They're all metal. They look to be a little bit heavy, even though some are aluminum, and they are very wide, but I haven't tried those on. This seems like a better fit, and a better fit for most people at least, especially if you're looking for something with a more of a classic shape. And I will say the refill is completely fine. It's just annoying that it uses a proprietary shape, and the refills aren't cheap. These refills are like close to $4. So you're gonna be blowing through these things if you're writing a lot, and they're $4 a pop. So it may not be for everyone. But yeah, that's the Tombow Zoom rollerball pen, the Zoom 828 BW. It's just a fun, interesting pen, and something, you know, fun to look for on eBay, or just to kind of, you know, borrow from a friend and just give it a shot. It's not something I'll use every day, but I'm glad I was able to show it to everyone. So thanks for watching.